just go for it.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? I'm here with Toby, TalkHEX, otherwise known as. It's been a while since we last talked, and times have changed. We're all stuck inside, but price has 100x. So, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I think you did a good job. My name's TalkHEX in the Telegram. I'm a bit of a lurker. I'm not really doing anything active in the community, but I don't know. There's so much stuff going on at the moment. It's even hard to find anything that needs doing. Like someone's already going to have it up before you, right? Like people are already doing so many things. Yeah, quarantine's going all right. I don't know about you. Are you just working from home?
Yeah, I've been working from home. Luckily, I have like a tech job, so it's pretty easy. All I need is a laptop.
Yeah, same. I'm doing remote work. I can see it like changing how everyone works. I love the money I'm saving on buy more HEX with the commuting money.
Me too. It's great. It's one of the best parts about it. My monthly credit card bill has just been cut in eighths. It's like 1/8 of my normal bill. And I working from home, I think I actually get more done. I don't know about you, but there's less distractions and people don't feel the need to small talk and talk about bullshit. So you really just get straight to the point. And you realize you can get a full day's work done in 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm more effective. How about you?
I used to do one day kind of work from home, and it was always probably my least productive day. But as I've gone into the routine, I think a lot of people have done this. Like they found the first couple of weeks really hard in quarantine, and then you kind of sit yourself down and say, okay, I need to get a routine going. And then, yeah, I feel like I've been more productive because I don't know when it's going to end. So I can't just not be productive.
Yeah. I mean, just get a shower in, dress up, put some nice clothes on. And
yeah, I think that
goes a long way with the little things.
Yeah. Now we got the other distraction of the HEX chart.
I mean,
I try
thank God.
HEX to stay away from the charts, like trading and all that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it more now. So.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for HEX during this quarantine. I think it's keeping me sane, oddly enough. Despite all the haters, I've actually learned to kind of laugh it off, and it's really entertainment for me, as well as I get to talk about something I really do believe in, and all these haters are kind of just my entertainment value. It's better than TV. Real life is better than fiction sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going crazy, but it's giving me a lot of time to just like the game theory of HEX. I just get in these feedback loops of thinking about it and reminding myself of how great it is.
Yeah.
I find myself explaining it to my girlfriend. I'll just be walking around the room explaining why it's so good because it earns penalties.
Yeah. Every way you cut it, the only problem, and it's important to talk about the potential issues, right? But without creating FUD, it's great in almost every way. But the gatekeeping aspect of it, I fear it might be too good in a lot of people's eyes, that it must be a scam because it's too good and they don't understand what's happening. How can somebody? It goes against the common wisdom of if something is too good to be true, then it probably is. In this case, in the 0.001% of cases where that's actually not good advice, I think that applies to HEX. And so I see a lot of people, and really it's just a challenge, right? It's just an obstacle to get past public perception, which I think we're doing a good job of, and price speaks for itself. But
yeah,
what are your thoughts on, do you have any issues with HEX? Let's
just
get that out of the way.
I think actually last time we spoke, we just recovered above a sat, and we were talking about the possibility of recycling into the AA.
Oh, we were?
And yeah, I think we were saying if it was happening, what would be the incentives? Why would they be doing it? So I mean, we still have no more definitive evidence that it is or isn't occurring. But I think I've seen your opinion on this is that whether or not it is or not occurring, I just want it to be over, the AA to be over, so that it just can't be said anymore.
Yeah.
I think my main thought about it is that I would be interested, if it is happening, I would be interested to see how the project would have evolved without. But at the end of the day, the price, it has just allowed the real market to be taken to Uniswap, which has always been the real market because you can't sell on the AA. So, yeah, I'm not bothered by it. It is what it is. And when the smart contract was deployed, everyone knew that those mechanisms could happen. Like this is the blockchain, and it's open and free, and no one can stop this. So,
yeah, and my opinion about the alleged recycling that may or may not be true is it's changed over the months, the weeks. It used to be that, oh well, it's pushing out people to go trade at a, oh cheers, it's pushing out people to go trade.
What have you got there?
This is a very, very kind of girly drink. It's like a hard kombucha. So I was at the store today. Yeah, I was at the store today, and I've never seen it before. So, I've become a little bit of an alcoholic the past 2 weeks or so, and I'm not ashamed. But anyway, I used to think it was trying to push people out of the AA and into Uniswap to basically steer people to go trade at an actual exchange. And I still kind of think that, but I still think the adoption amplifier, I've gone back on that a little bit, in that I think the adoption amplifier is very important to the whole thing, because that's how you get referral bonuses. That's how you get virality, is through the adoption amplifier. And so what I think is happening now is really any recycling that could happen, it's not meant to fuck anybody over. So you've got real people trading over here on Uniswap, and then you've got the adoption amplifier that people don't really, anybody can join every day, but there's no telling how much ETH will be in it at the end of the day. But if there wasn't an equal amount of ETH in the adoption amplifier to match the real volume, remember, from real people trading on real exchanges, then some bad actor could go ahead and buy up a bunch of HEX on the adoption amplifier and dump it via arbitrage on Uniswap. So unfortunately, I think this has to happen because HEX is growing quicker than expected. It's ahead of schedule. So I think that we weren't really expecting to have such a liquid, amazing, decentralized exchange so early, like Uniswap. And I'm so happy that it exists. But I think in order to account for that on the other side of the coin, is you have to make sure that people can't game the system and just arbitrage and sell the price down, right? So it's trying to account for the fact that we have real liquidity on a real exchange much faster than anticipated. So.
I think, like, also if you look at it, if alleged recycling was happening, there are no victims. It's a victimless action. It means that it has allowed the free market on Uniswap to go up, and so all bag holders are, like, on paper, much more well off. And actually, at the current market prices, people are willing to pay that on Uniswap, people that are just getting in. So it's not like it's completely, it's not like it would create a completely artificially propped up price.
And that's the
otherwise you wouldn't see anyone buying on Uniswap.
Exactly. It's not people seem to think that the AA price precedes the real price. I don't see how that can be humanly possible, because on a real exchange, you can trade 24/7, 365. On the adoption amplifier, it's kind of like having a price chart that only gives you one ticker per day. It only gives you one price, and that's at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's its own beast, and
it's not even a real exchange. It's not. It's just a kind of a game theory. It's an adoption amplifier. I mean, it was meant for adoption. So, it's not an exchange. It does not set price discovery. Price discovery happens on real exchanges. So, that's just my thought.
Yeah, we've come a long way, and I think I am really looking forward to that being gone, because I think that's probably the only, and I've got a list of things that I wanted to talk about, but I think that's the only thing that's because I can't see how it could disrupt the project, but it's the only thing that's maybe at some point made me feel uneasy about the project. But I want to be honest about it. I still think HEX is the greatest crypto for store of value out there. So we can at least be honest with ourselves about all this stuff.
And that's another really good point. Nothing is forbidden in crypto. You can kind of, just because recycling may or may not be happening, it was always an option. It was always a possibility And you knew that. If you followed HEX before launch, you knew that when EOS launched, they did a very similar launch phase. And it was modeled after that. So people are acting shocked and appalled that it could be possibly happening. It's like, maybe just get over it. Get a hobby. Like don't get so caught up with what's happening in this random little crypto project. I mean, I don't know why it's so triggering for a lot of people.
It's also like Richard Hart says, it's not preventable. Like there's no way to prevent it. You could lock up the ETH and get a loan on it and do it that way.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think you did a good job jumping on that Discord. Moving away for a second, on the Discord syndicate, because I think, like you said, like with the one newbie, we love HEX so much, and there's so many complexities that we just want to talk about it all. But I noticed that we'd get off track from the question.
Yeah, we go deep, and it's you know.
Well,
go ahead.
So you know, good texture, right? He's made these series of videos about shares. Like it takes us four videos of like, I think they were like 10 minutes long each, just to like scratch the surface of shares. So, like, it's almost best not to mention them, and that's what I found when onboarding new users myself. Is just really keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. When you explain it to somebody new, they don't want to hear about shares. They don't want to hear about the adoption amplifier even. All they want to know is, where do I get it? And what's the premise? Why should I keep it? And why should you keep it? Well, it's easy. It's time locking, staking, sacrificing time for money, just like we have in the real world. It's akin to a CD. And if you want to really invest in something and have it make you more of that thing, well, this is really the only product that allows you to stake long term and get a good amount of interest. I mean, there's other staking coins, but this is one where the game theory is behind it, where you can't pull out at any time because there's penalties for pulling out early. And then
I like using those the real world numbers, like the total CD market cap in like the US and China, like the one that Richard quotes a lot. And then just keeping it as simple as basically Bitcoin, but with interest. And so it mentioned that there's these deeper game theory elements that are designed to make price appreciate, but really keeping it at that level. And I think that's enough for people to get interested.
Yeah, and that's the the activation energy that they need in order to get past that initial hump of why should I care? And then once they care, once they own it, you've got the speculative stickiness factor, which is you discover more cool things like, oh, there's a big payday at day 353. Wow, holy shit, that's cool. What happened? How do I get more HEX? How do I take advantage of that? Or what are these shares? Like, why should I stake longer and bigger earlier? And like, oh, now there's something called shares. It's like a whole different paradigm you open new doors. And so it's a simple pitch. It's a simple, easy sell. Very easy sell if you consider you're getting in early on a new crypto revolution type of thing. Like all the money is made by people that get in early. That's true. You make exponentially less gains the later you are. So it's not to say investing now is a bad idea. It's still very, very, very early.
But I think the pitch is pretty easy. But I think like you showed with I forget his name, but it was the guy, the AR guy.
Marty. He's
Marty.
Where's Marty? He's in the chat.
Like the sell's easy, but the onboarding is like pretty hard. There's so many questions to answer, but truly, it's almost easier if they go unanswered.
Yeah.
As a beginner to crypto. Yeah.
Right. And the less words you can use to say about something, the more effective it can be. There's no need to overcomplicate a lot of this stuff. In fact, that's what keeps people out a lot of the time. I mean, the Warren Buffett adage is, I won't invest in it if I can't understand it. And so you need to make it easy to understand for a newcomer, but also complex enough to really drag you in and so that you stick around. I mean, that's how Bitcoin was described to me, as internet money and a financial revolution to replace the dirty banking system. And that was enough for me to get interested. But then there's so much more to it, and there's all these altcoins and everything. So
Yeah, I think that's that the call to like decentralization away from banks is kind of a hard sell for most Westerners. We just all have good access to banks, and we never have an issue buying our coffee. But I think the one thing we are looking for is yield. So to onboard these Western markets, I think that's the killer app. When you talk about Bitcoin, people always ask like, what can you do with it? Like, why do I need it? And truly, you don't. I think the best use case is to hold it and to store its value. But it doesn't, except for the halving. It has some fundamentals built in where it's like designed to just be as store of value, but it's not. But it has all these different fragmented communities that have different visions for it. There's one of the downsides to decentralization that some people want the digital cash, some people want the kind of settlement layer, the global settlement layer, some people want the store of value, and so you can't really focus on optimizing for a use case. And not to mention, Hex is actually like faster, lower transaction fees than Bitcoin anyway. So I think it really optimizes for what like the Western people want.
Yeah, and Western people, unfortunately, are going to be the first adopters because we have the money to invest in things. People tell this false narrative that, some poor person in a third world country really, really wants Bitcoin. Like, no, they don't want Bitcoin. They want food, shelter, and maybe internet before they have the free capital to be investing. So you're going to need first world adoption. I don't think it should be. I love the fact that it's a grassroots retail revolution, but that's what's off-putting about now we have new companies. We have Wall Street moving in on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ruining it, what it was meant for. So you've got all these guys saying, "Hey, I'll take your private keys off your hand for 6% a year."
Oh, that sickens me. Like how so many like Bitcoin maximalists show those links.
Yeah.
Like, it's just completely against the movement.
Yeah. And actually, that reminds me, I have a link to a crypto debit card in my video descriptions, and I'm gonna remove that because I'm gonna delete that as soon as I get off this call, because I don't think anybody should really be using those crypto debit cards. I mean, you don't own your cryptocurrency if you use a third party bank. I mean, if you want another bank, then go ahead, but that's all it is. And you're giving up your private keys for a cool looking debit card. Like, is that really worth it? I don't know. Maybe.
I think I've got kind of a mixed opinion on these social services.
Yeah.
I think like sort of BlockFi and Celsius, I particularly don't like those ones because they're often shilled by the people that at the same time will say, not your keys, not your coins. Whereas I actually quite like the crypto.com product because it is a really good middle ground for people that just aren't quite sure about crypto yet.
Yeah.
And so I often see people say there's no point in having Bitcoin like if you have it on Coinbase, but you still do get the benefits of like the huge gains that crypto provides. And
that's true.
And
I guess it's good that crypto.com is around. That's the one I was talking about, by the way. It's good that it's around because at least it's got something now. Coinbase has something to compete with. It's not a monopoly. So I guess it's not bad. You just have to know that when you sign up for these third-party things, and it is cool that you can spend your crypto, right? But nobody wants to spend right now because they want mad gains and they still want the price to go up. I think when we reach a stable point at the top of the S-curve, I think that's when we start using services like crypto.com to actually transact every day. But right now, I wouldn't even recommend paying for something because might as well hold it for 5 years and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right? Pay with US dollars or Australian dollars, whatever.
And there's always going to be a group of people that actually don't care about being their own bank. They want a custodial wallet. But yet they don't want to be inflated by the Fed or whatever. So that is a good middle ground. Yeah. Anyway, so I had a list of questions that actually Nerd Girl from the Discord Syndicate stream kind of like asked those questions. But I think it would be. I think everyone has like a little slightly different like opinion on everything, so it would be
Go
good
for
to
it.
chat on there. So the main one I keep hearing, and that I just don't understand why people specifically like point at Hex and say this, is the potential of a dump from the origin address. And it's just I don't it's all about incentives, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
there is absolutely no incentive for the OA to dump. And
Yeah.
I think primarily if we make the assumption that the OA has very constructively provided most of the liquidity to the market thus far for a 150-day altcoin, no other 150-day altcoin has this sort of liquidity. It's only been of benefit to the project. If the OA does control most of the liquidity, like who are they going to sell to? There's no one. They can't sell to themselves. Like just there's no economic incentive for them to dump. And like I think RG3 said, it's about like it's you want to run away with pennies when on paper you can be worth. I don't know.
Yeah.
If we get a $HEX, richest man in the world or richest person in the world.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume anything.
Or woman.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I don't know how. Yeah.
No, but yeah,
he might identify another way. I don't know.
It's 2020, bro. But no, it's called skin in the game. And if when you have skin in the game, you behave differently. You don't act. That's the reason that people have stock options at companies. They're incentivized to see the company does well, so that their stocks are worth more in the future, and their net worth is worth more. Really, we're all worth the most money if we just never ever sell, and then get to a point where we can transact HEX as if it was $1. But there's that argument. There's a skin in the game of like, why would anybody kill their own coin? And then it's just, I don't know. I don't think Richard or anybody on that, like if you know him, if you've talked to him, or if you've talked to any of the developers on the project, they don't need the money like that. They want to do this because they actually want to try something out, and they believe in it, and so do we, and they want to see it to fruition, and they want to run the experiment the way it was meant to be run. So I don't see that happening, but at the same time, I don't want to deny that it can't happen. So anybody who's concerned about that, just know, yeah, it can happen. I'm going to be blatantly honest about it. Sure, it could happen, but I don't care. I'm taking the gamble, and I say that all the time. I'm taking the risk, and I think to me, it's not really so much of a risk, but I have different information than a lot of people have. A lot of people just see, oh, one person has a lot of crypto, one address has a lot of the supply. Also, I guess a third point would be, so does every other crypto. Look through the ERC20 top 10 coins and tell me which coins don't have more than 50% owned by less than 5 addresses.
Yeah, I think there's not a crypto out there that doesn't have a whale big enough to drop it to zero on a certain exchange.
And it doesn't work if you have a quote unquote fair distribution. I mean, define fair, right? You're defining fair differently. So I don't even want to use that word, but if you distribute an equal amount to everybody, I think it happened with like Byteball or one of those cryptocurrencies that was very cool technologically, and they gave a little bit to every Bitcoin holder, like they airdropped a little bit to everybody, but it doesn't work because then nobody is incentivized to not sell. Everybody gets a little bit of the token and they say, what's this token in my wallet? Oh, how much is it worth? How much can I sell it for? And they just go sell it. They don't believe in the project.
Of the commons as well, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's the tragedy of the commons. Yeah. So redefine what fair distribution means to you. If you want an equal amount given to everybody, you're going to have tragedy of the commons. And that's what Bitcoin has to a degree, because we don't have, not totally, but to a slight degree, not enough people are incentivized to give a shit about Bitcoin. Luckily, there's a lot of whales out there, and you'll notice the people that are really pumping Bitcoin are companies, third parties like BlockFi or, Gemini, Coinbase, exchanges, centralized exchanges, because they have a lot to gain because they have a lot of Bitcoin. They own a lot of Bitcoin. They want to see it go up.
But truly, they have platforms which they will siphon fees off of anyway. But yeah. They're the only people we will ever see ads from.
Right.
And yeah, so on that point of like all these other cryptos have the same or even higher economic centralization. I think the reason Hex gets so much flack is because it's just so honest about it, because it's like a smart contract that's written and it's all visible. But all these other cryptos are just so less transparent about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can just be attacked more in Hex. But truly, it's because it's more of an open and
we're more honest.
More honest project. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie and say that the origin address doesn't exist. Like, it does. So if you don't like it, don't buy it. But I think it's the best thing out there since Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin was great. Actually, I like Ethereum too, but Ethereum to me was never an investment. Unfortunately, that threw me off of the Ethereum ICO. I didn't invest in the ICO because I figured, oh, well, this is not a currency. This is more like a digital fuel. It's more like a base layer for a lot of other things. And I didn't realize that doesn't mean it's not going to pump.
Yeah.
It's still pumped fucking 10,000 times.
Shit
So
pumps.
yeah, I wish I bought it. But so that's what made me realize it's not always about the logical fundamentals that you might think give something value. Because Ethereum, yeah, probably should be worth a lot less than it is, but it's not.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't touch Ethereum before Hex at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I'd been interested in a couple of projects built on Ethereum, but I'd only ever bought them on exchanges. So I looked at Engine Coin.
I love that guy. He's so hardcore. Like, you gotta, like, I feel like I'm the neutral voice of reason, and then he just comes out with fuck Bitcoin. Like, you gotta have both sides. Yeah, fuck
yeah, man, he'll
Bitcoin.
be. I don't remember what I was cut off.
Sorry.
I've lost it.
That's okay.
But
you can go up.
Yeah, go on.
Just look at questions. That's what I always do when I don't know what to say. I buy Hex daily and I exit the AA every day and pay the ETH fees. Just wondering if I waited a week and exited all by daily positions at once, could I batch it into a single ETH transaction? I don't think so. I think you have to exit every day with a different transaction. I'm sorry, bro. You got to pay 50 cents instead of 5. Sorry, man. FUD issues raised by Hex fudders are the same issues raised regarding BTC. I mean, in a way, the centralization aspect, yeah.
From no
people don't realize that there's a huge counterparty risk in Bitcoin from China. They own 60%. China. They own 60% of all mining, and it's not that different miners own. It's not that it's all the same mining company. There's different mining companies, but the Chinese government can tell the electric companies to flip the switch at a moment's notice. And let's say China invents Yuan coin. I don't know how you pronounce it. Yuan coin. And they decide they don't like BTC anymore. They can tell every miner, stop mining and start mining our coin. So it's probably not going to happen, but you never know. And it could. Just like the Ripple guys could dump on your head at any moment. Just like the Link guys could dump on your head at any moment. Risk, there's counterparty risk everywhere. It's unavoidable, but you want to seek the lowest counterparty risk, which I think is like Hex and Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think interesting about RG3's comment. Like, we definitely need guys like that. But so BTC hasn't evolved much in the last 10 years, and I think a lot of the Bitcoin guys, and I agree with this. Like, I was a Bitcoin maxi before all this. I think.
Me too.
They say it's about like ossification of the base layer to become like a global reserve currency. It needs to be certain. But I think it's just come too early. Like, you've onboarded so few of the world population and then decided that that's it. That's good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't even increased. I think they plan to increase the block size. Satoshi said he wanted to increase the block size a reasonable amount. You know, but
and you're gonna have Taproot and Schnorr signatures, maybe, which are two very good things for Bitcoin. But it'll provide some level of anonymity to a degree, but a lot of people might not accept those changes because in order, a lot of exchanges have sold out to their local governments already. And if all of a sudden Bitcoin can't be tracked, well, they might no longer be allowed to operate in their particular jurisdiction, because if Bitcoin becomes semi-anonymous like it was meant to be, and if it becomes that way again, it might not be allowed by the US government or Russia, whoever.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
And on that point, I think like HEX, because it seems as it can't be changed, it's the most ossified crypto there is, I think.
Yeah.
Nothing can change. Things can be built on top of it. Although we will gain like the benefits of the Ethereum system evolving, but it won't change the mechanics and like economics of HEX. Just the kind of transaction speed, like usability, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I read an article today about how Ethereum is moving to a proof of stake consensus mechanism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Apparently, there was some talk with the SEC about recategorizing Ethereum as a security because of the new proof of stake mechanism. So they haven't made a decision yet, but they're reconsidering whether or not they want to reclassify Ethereum as a security. Today, it's generally accepted as a commodity, I believe.
I think they've been through this before, right?
Yeah, and then you had that one guy who said it's possible for things to start off as a security but decentralize enough later to the point where they become more of a commodity. Granted, that guy sounds like he bought some Ethereum, but I think that's actually a good thing, because you can pay these people off. If enough of these SEC people buy Ethereum, all of a sudden they might change their tone. So I'm in favor of that kind of corruption.
Well, yeah, I think we'll just see people as like real intention to shine through. I think a lot of the stuff that's going on in Wyoming, with the Bitcoin,
I love Wyoming
stuff. Yeah, they love it over there. So
yeah,
we've definitely got some over in the US. Some, I see, it's like senators that own some BTC.
yeah. And then Portugal sounded like a pretty cool place to move to if you ever become a crypto millionaire. No taxes on crypto gains.
I'd be lying if I said I haven't looked at Portugal's tax rules in the last few months.
Yeah, you've been looking on Zillow, or I don't know if you looking at apartments, maybe a house.
To be fair, it's not too bad in the UK. I think it's like 20% on capital gains.
Oh, you're in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were in Australia.
I think you said that last time we were on.
Yeah. Not because of the accent. I just thought you were actually from Australia.
Oh, right.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. Must have been some other guy.
I'll just go down my list here.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, so there's this. All this time in isolation, like, made me think about things a lot. So I was thinking about interest in HEX. A lot of people's criticism is that you're basically getting like more monopoly money, right? I think that's a silly argument anyway. But
of course you are. This is all fake, made up shit. Yeah.
And it's an inflationary system, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And in a situation where demand isn't increasing, that will result in like lower value per coin. But we're such pitiful adoption that I think demand can only go up over a decent time frame.
Yeah.
But I think another way of looking at the interest in HEX is that as a staker, you can reframe it as just earning interest, as to just gathering a larger piece of the ecosystem pie. So if the whole ecosystem sits, like the market cap, I guess, stays the same, you're basically just gathering up a larger and larger piece of the pie with your stakes. Yeah. I just thought it could be another way of thinking about it, because I don't know, printing money out of thin air is sometimes a hard thing to justify, even though it is justifiable.
I mean, doesn't the government do that?
Yeah.
Money
most of the people I talk to about money still think we have the gold standard in the UK, which is
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Not been for a while.
Yeah, we moved away from it at least in America in 1973 2004, I think, the Bretton Woods Agreement. Yeah, we're no longer on the gold standard, so there was a time where you could convert your gold into cash, and it was mandatory. Everybody was mandated by the government to convert any gold they had into cash, and a lot of people hid it away in jewelry and other types of things because they knew that gold would still have value because it does have a somewhat limited supply. You can only mine so much out of the ground. It's proof of work in 3D real life because you have to work to dig it out of the ground. Just like proof of work in Bitcoin is you have to work to create more via a hashing algorithm. What HEX does, which is a little bit different, is proof of stake, which basically incentivizes people that actually care about the project, that believe in it, which is the real genius of it, because inflation is only paid to stakers. So it's proof of stake mixed with the emergency unstaking algorithm that I think is the real innovation on top of that's better than proof of work. It's proof of stake with penalties and with other game theory that makes it so that it's more attractive to stake long term. If I stake Tezos for 6 months, nothing is stopping me from pulling it out whenever I want. It only takes me 3 days to end my bake. They call it baking. So it only takes me 3 days to take my roll out of the oven, because you're baking a roll in Tezos every 10,000
No way,
Tezos.
I thought this was just a joke.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
I thought Lyco and Moses just made it up.
No. It's called baking in Tezos, and you can I think they recently changed it to 8,000. Every 8,000 Tezos you stake, you have to stake it in chunks, and it's called a roll. So I took my rolls out of the oven and I sold them for HEX. So it's not financial advice, but
I think it kind of hits on the point that I think Nerd Girl was getting at. Her last question was that why HEX over ETH? And one of the biggest things I think is that you don't have anyone dumping on your head constantly because of the mining. It's just.
I mean, I think so too. Yeah, you don't have. There's just so much more potential as well.
It's lower market cap as well, right? So
market cap. ETH was never meant to be a currency. I mean, it could be, but ETH is a platform, not a currency. So it depends. If you wanted ETH to be a currency, I'm sure you could invent some things to make it a currency, but it's much easier to have a token on top of Ethereum be like the currency or the main thing. So, and maybe HEX never becomes a currency either. Maybe it just becomes a DeFi financial product. Maybe it just becomes a digital CD. That would be enough for me. That would be good enough because it's a high interest place where I can get real yield. Like you were mentioning earlier, people in the first world are looking for actual yield, and 2% savings accounts at TD Bank are not going to cut it. For me at least, because you're not even beating inflation. So I want somewhere where I can put my money, however you define money, where I can put my valuable things and make more valuable things out of it by agreeing not to spend it. So I'm sacrificing. It's literally the embodiment of sacrificing time and delayed gratification, which we're seeing a lot of people can't do because of all these emergency unstake penalties. A lot of people can't even delay gratification for more than a year. It's great.
Yeah, I felt bad for the guy that like nuked more than his account was.
Yeah,
it's like you can only feel so bad because you do get a big warning, but you don't know why he was unstaking. He might have needed it to pay bills or something. So I think another part of one of the reasons locking your coins. So obviously locking your coins up, it provides the kind of certainty to the market, and you've like committed to that amount of time. But I think it also has a huge effect on community. Like, it not only prevents the dumps, but it also incentivizes everyone to stay part of the community and keep building for 10, 15 years.
Yeah. And that's the thing is now that you don't have trading on the table, I love that. So trading is no longer an option for me because I'm staked for anywhere from 2 through 15 years. laddered, obviously. But because I don't have to think and worry about when am I going to exit, all I think about now is how can I help pump my bag. And I figured the best way I could do it was by talking and just being an orator, maybe creating a few things. I created like hexobituaries.com. I'm doing an ad campaign. So I'm doing a little bit, nowhere near the level that the developers have done. So shout out to Steph and, Firebun doing the real work. But it basically, if you're sitting around, all day long, just watching your hex go up and down, it's not going to be that fun. So you're going to start thinking, well, maybe I should go write an article. Maybe I should go hop on this guy's podcast, whatever.
Yeah, it's fun to think about, but yeah, it's when it's so far out, like it's amusing, like the dumps.
Yeah.
I've personally onboarded just like a handful of people, and the community sites and everything built up around it is what's like really hooked them in. So like the leagues, for example, on Hex.live have been like a really popular thing because it's just, I don't know, it's like gamification. Like, especially like people who are used to playing games like Dota or League of Legends, they're used to the rankings and that sort of thing.
And that's actually something that just clicked for me about a week ago. I think Hexologist he made a tip on a PewDiePie live stream. Yeah. He tipped like $2 and said, hey, check out hex.doctor if you want 10% more. Hex will change your life or something like that. And I didn't realize, but the gaming community out there is such a perfect fit for this product. And so I just added a bunch of gaming channels to my ad campaign, like PewDiePie and other people that I've never really heard of. I don't really follow gamers on Twitch or anything like that, but anybody that has the kind of mentality of they understand the dopamine reward system to a degree, and like they also can handle, they like that level of complexity. Like they like the unraveling and finding out more, because Hex almost is like a real life video game. You go through layers and you peel the onion back and you realize there's more and more different rewards to go get. Cool if somebody made like an achievement board for Hex, like made your first referral, you can even make a separate coin on top of that, like an achievement coin.
I'm pretty sure Steph said he was working on something like that. I don't want to like expectations.
I'm saying it would be cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I don't know. Are you familiar with Engine Coin?
Oh yeah, I am.
There's like been a handful of projects, except for Bitcoin, that have immediately kind of clicked for me. And like having played games growing up, especially like MMOs, like you can immediately see like the value in virtual goods.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, like you said, gamers are like, just from that perspective, like a really good audience to try and onboard, because they already understand it. Like people pay thousands of dollars for like items which can be duplicated by devs in games. So if you can get them on the blockchain and kind of ensure that or prove that there's only like one of this item, I think gamers will like that.
Yeah, they'll love it. They're gonna love it. What is your staking strategy, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it's changed. So when we first talked, I think back, it seems like a long time ago, but it really wasn't actually. It's just how fast the price has appreciated that like if it was longer. I was like 80% staked, and I had a little bit liquid, and now I have none liquid, because I found myself, even with that 20% liquid, like I felt the trader in me like creeping back, seeing the dips and just how easy it is to sell on Uniswap. I just staked it. I staked it to a day till a week before big payday, so at least I have that choice whether I want to like sit through it, my whole stack, or not.
Yep. I mean, same here. I'm proud to say that I've never sold Hex yet. Obviously, I probably will at some point, but even the 10% liquid that I have, that I was saving for emergency situations, it's bringing out the shitty, degenerate gambler trading side of me.
Yeah.
And it's tempting me. And my response to that is, I'm just going to go ahead and I'll make a video about it, and I'll stake a few million for 5 years just to maybe I'll get some viewers, I'll get some more street cred, and it'll save myself too, because I won't be able to touch it. And that's really how this all works. So the more you try to trade, the more you're gonna hurt yourself.
And all this talk of shares, like, it makes me just want to lock in a 10-year stake or something.
That too.
Like before a big payday.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably do it before big payday. Not right before, probably 5 days before.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of, we like to talk about shares a lot, and I think there's been a lot of confusion. But I think in some ways, like, we have over confused shares. Like, it is really just compounding interest. Like, the earlier you get into investing, the more you're going to make with compounding.
Yeah, it's the inverse of compounding.
Yeah, but like effectively, it has the same like effect on your HEX at the end of your stake.
Right.
And so, I mean, if you stake for a day just through big payday, you are unlikely to get a significantly worse share rate, total number of shares, sorry, because if you restaked afterwards, because you're going to have like double the amount of HEX as well to buy those shares with. So I think a lot of people think, oh, it's going to like the share rate's going to double, and so you can only get half the shares. But truly, you're going to have approximately double the amount of HEX. So I think it will only be a marginal difference if you decide to do that. But I think the great thing about it is that about the share rate is that it does have that like speculative stickiness. You can have this insane graph that just goes like that up there, as Richard was saying.
Yeah,
so very high.
That video is great. I don't know if you caught the he who shall not be named. Poor guy.
Man, I don't know. I feel like he's back in probably.
He probably has. I think we still have his public address. He probably would have changed it by now, I would hope.
Yeah, I think.
But a lot of people out there, they own HEX and they don't want to tell anybody about it because they don't want to look bad. For me, I have nothing to lose. I got no subscriber base. Who knows if I would have acted differently if I had 10,000 subscribers? Who knows?
It's getting there though.
Oh yeah, like, I'm almost 1,000. 760 something.
Yeah, and it's this stuff that's really important. Like the Hexologist stream. I don't know how the YouTube algorithm works, but I imagine that's just fucking great. The fact they just it every day, same exact time. The
consistency is great for the algorithm. And it's also just great for people to build a relationship with him. Like, I feel like I know Hexologist on a personal level. I feel like I'm just hanging out with him every day, which is awesome. And I hope people feel like that about me too. When you're watching my videos, I like to describe it as more of a diary of my thoughts. And I don't claim to be some god or some Mother Teresa, holy, self-righteous person. I've doubted Hex a lot. I've had my doubts, and I've looked at the FUD and taken it really deep into consideration. And every single time I think about it, I just come up with nothing. I come up liking it even more. So I really do try to poke holes in it. I think everybody should, but there's no way around it. It's too good. too good to ignore.
What's the, like, if you could change one thing about, not change anything, but what's the one thing you want to, oh yeah, okay, we'll do that. What's the one thing you would change about HEX if it was to be redeployed? But then also, what's the one thing you want to see like built on top of HEX now?
The one thing I'd like to see built on top of HEX is an eternal referral system that never ends.
Okay, yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I think somebody can build that. There's already like a plan for that. Somebody just has to take the time to do it. The one thing I wish that was a little bit different was probably I don't even know. I would say the marketing, but in the sense of it looks like a scam, and the whole premise or the hypothesis of you have to like everyone's an idiot and you have to siphon off people that would otherwise have been scammed by a lookalike scam, but that happens to be a real honest project. That's true for a subset of people, but it's also offensive to other people that are easily offended, I guess. But and that's not even that big of a flaw. It's more of an issue with the perceiver. The perceiver has to adjust their own reality and not be so butthurt by the fact that this might not be a scam.
It's interesting to see how like that narrative of picking up the people who would otherwise be caught up in scams has actually become true. like seeing Trayvon and like that crowd like jumping in, but actually, I don't know if they know it or not. I don't want to sound rude, but like actually being in a completely honest project that like isn't going to suddenly say, oh, we weren't doing arbitrage trading. Like, sorry guys.
Yeah. And I was around for BitConnect too, and I never got involved in it. And I'm not trying to say that it couldn't have happened. Maybe, if the initial conditions were a little bit different and I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, I could have been maybe talked into buying BitConnect too. But luckily, I would like to think that I have the mental capacity to identify, shit from real shit.
I think if you don't know what arbitrage trading is as well, it can sound complex and
appeal to complexity.
Yeah,
logical fallacy thing.
Yeah. But it also did a ton of things right. So I didn't actually get to use it. I wasn't in crypto at the time, but I've seen screenshots of their UI, and it just looks like Hex go to hex.win does now. Like it's just simple. It doesn't try to do anything super fancy.
Yeah. I love that. There's a certain look that a lot of these crypto projects have on their websites. They all kind of look the same. Go ahead.
I was going to say something, but I've just realized that hex.win has the same. I was going to say the hex, the like, I don't know, the
connectors,
connections, like moving around.
But that's a cool effect. I like that effect.
I like it too. Yeah, but it's like every single new paradigm blockchain 5.0 web like coin has it on it. Yeah,
especially in 2017, they all had that. That was like the only criteria to get investors. Put that on your homepage.
I came in at such a weird time. Like I'd heard of Bitcoin actually, I think way back in 2012 or 2013. I was working in a summer job, and it wasn't really like paying for what I wanted to do. So I was looking at like ways to make money online. And on this list of 20 things, it said like mine Bitcoin, and I was like, I don't know, like 13 or something.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked into it. I was like it's just internet money. Like
I had the same experience in college. For me, I might be a few years younger than you, but 2013, I was in college, and me and a few friends were joking around about how we should take a bunch of old computers and just CPU mine Bitcoin, because back then you still could. And it was more just like a drunken kind of joke that we never actually executed. But goddamn, I wish I did.
I think we're probably similar age. I was at uni
26.
2014.
How old are you?
24.
Oh, I'm older than you. Holy shit. That's weird.
It's the board.
Yeah. Good luck for you, man.
Quarantine's got me. I think back, like, man, why didn't I use that free electricity in my dorm to mine Bitcoin?
Yeah. I know, man. I'm kicking myself, but hey. And I found out about it through the dark web, obviously. And then, I'll say it. And then I remember seeing the 2014 bubble with China, basically buying it up to 1,200. And I remember watching that on my friend Dayan's laptop, and it skyrocketed. And I was watching it in real time, and he was freaking out. He was like, oh my God, like what is happening? And I didn't really understand, but that was the first time I had seen a real trading screen and a real interface where people could trade.
It's always kind of like, for me, before like a couple of events and crypto, like I'd always just thought of like stocks and trading and things like that to just be something like for the elite and you see in movies, and I'd never quite understand it. And then, anyway, continue.
I mean, crypto has democratized trading for better or for worse. It gives people more rope to hang themselves with, but some people are good at it. I don't have the mentality for it. I don't know about you. Have you ever been successful?
No. So I tried trading CFDs. I kind of got into finance, like personal finance, like 2014. Tried trading like forex and that sort of stuff with paper money, but then got into real money.
Real money. What is that anyway?
Stuff that I could have like actually paid my rent with.
Okay, that's fair.
Around like 2018 on BitMEX, and yeah, I lost money, like money that was like uncomfortable at the time, and that it really made me have to like have a like one moment I was looking at like the financial markets and trying to be savvy and like trying to outcompete my fellow man, and the next minute I felt like an absolute degenerate. Like I'd basically just become a gambler. Yep. Like it is what it is, but it just gambling is what it is, but it doesn't feel like that when you get into it. You feel like I think us males as well. Like we like to think we're
risk takers,
outcompete the other guys as well. So
yeah, that's another concept I've been reading about, is that people tend to overly misgauge their intelligence, and a lot of people think of themselves as a lot smarter than they really are. So that, especially men too. So that's probably why a lot of people think that they can have an edge in trading when they don't realize that it's a full-time job. I thought I had an edge. I lost a lot of money on HEX. That was my intro to crypto in 2015. I got a crash course. I lost more Bitcoin than I'd like to admit, which at the time was only a few grand, because I bought Bitcoin for $200, $250. Probably lost like 20 Bitcoin.
Damn. No. But it's all like, there's so many possibilities, like with the sort of butterfly effect thing, that you can never fully like regret something. I know that
I'm happy. It wouldn't have happened any other way.
Yeah. I'm glad I figured out that I can't trade and that I should just leave it alone when I was playing with these kind of lower amounts, rather than, 10 years from now or something when I'm playing with real money that could, I mean, well, we'll see what HEX does, but I'm kind of wary, because like being in the community since day zero, you can make some assumptions that a lot of these OGs are probably sitting on a nice stash right now.
And that's the thing. They think that their stash is the best, and there's no other way that this will ever happen again to anything. They think there's an immaculate conception for Bitcoin. There's no way it could possibly happen ever again. But when you have consensus agreement on something like that, it's prime opportunity for disruption. It's prime opportunity for a highly disruptive idea to come shake everything up. And I think HEX is literally going to break crypto. I think it's going to be so good. It's already been, I don't want to say too good too fast, but like it's been better than anyone's wildest expectations. And so you've got more people onboarded, but it also becomes more polarizing. So if you didn't like HEX before, you're going to hate it when it's 100 times the return.
I think some people are going to, I think the tone vays of the world, if this like plays out like if it continues this momentum, I think we're going to see a lot of people just quit crypto that didn't that hated HEX and just can't accept it.
Yeah, a lot of people will.
And so kind of like rewinding a little bit, looking at like my experience of trading, like it didn't work out, but having looked at charts for like probably 1,000 hours, maybe more, the HEX chart it is like nothing I've seen. Something that goes up 100x in so few days. The dips are just so like weak, like, and you can see that the selling momentum just dies so quickly, because you know that 25% of the supply, and I think more of a percent of the participants are staked, and so they just can't sell. Like
totally,
it's a game changer.
Totally, and even if you emergency unstake, you have less HEX to sell. You have less quantity to sell into the order book. And you're probably selling to a stronger hand anyway. Crypto Mom asks, what is OG? Linda, an OG stands for Original Gangsta. So that's what all of us are. You're an OG too, Crypto Mom. You're an OG too. It means people that got there first. So feels good. Feels good to be an OG.
I think Yeah, they are really pathetic
Yeah,
so far. But even we did have like a 40% dip. It feels like forever ago, but I think it was just a few weeks ago. But I was just kind of breezy because I was all staked. Like I was just like sitting back, laughing at
yeah,
the unstakers.
it's great, man. It's just I've never felt more calm and more zen about a project. The fun does shake me up to a degree, but getting a public channel has really given me the opportunity to get hated on, which is great. And I'm very thankful for that because it just builds thicker skin in a way. And now every time a hater makes a comment or, messages me, it's just, I'm able to laugh it off much easier than, a few months ago. Right.
Yeah. I mean, we're slowly turning the sides. I'm seeing so many, like, there's a clip of
Converts.
Ivan on tech. Like, he
Love
was
that
just
guy.
straight up said, like, he doesn't, it's not a scam.
He's
But
an investor.
I think he's
He's an investor.
a secret bad holder. Do you watch Louis Thomas?
No, he's a comedian.
No, he's a UK crypto guy.
Oh,
Yeah, he's actually pretty good.
okay.
I like his content. But I know that he's a bag holder, and that he says he just wants to see if it's actually possible to program something to appreciate in price. And I've been like DMing him saying like, come on, like make an update video because so many people are scared. They just want to maintain their face.
Yep.
In case things go tits up. I don't know. I don't know if that's a US saying actually.
Oh, I know all the Brit lingo. It's good.
Yeah.
I know tits up, man. Crypto mom still standing. You're a gangsta. Congratulations. Yeah, a lot of people out there on YouTube, or a lot of people in general are probably like, wait, can you really just design something to go up in price? And is that morally wrong? Do I have a problem with that? Then they realize, well, if you like Bitcoin, that was the only point of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there's more down the road, but step one is go to the moon. Step 2, 3, and 4 is like, payment integration and all this loans and everything. But you need to have a high price to have stability first and mass adoption.
Yeah, it's weird to look at. I guess in the UK at least, talking about money is kind of taboo.
Really?
Like openly, people don't tend to talk about their finances. So you can design, you can design almost anything else to do anything you like. Like we accept that guns are designed to kill people, right? And somehow that's accepted more widely than.
It's a great analogy.
Than a crypto designed to appreciate in price, which is it's so easy to see, and I hope people will start to look introspectively and realize this, that these price increases is one what we're 99% of us are here for, or at least originally were, but also it's just the greatest driver of adoption. Full stop. I only got into crypto because I saw the insane. I was sitting on the sidelines during 2017, and I'd wake up, go to work the next day, and see that Bitcoin had doubled, and I was like, "What? How can anything do this?" Like, I was into stocks and index investing, and I was just like, "I've got to learn about this." Luckily, I didn't buy at 20K or anything. It was on the way down, but but people could call that a Ponzi scheme, right? You got in.
I also bought it 200, so I bought it 17, and I also bought it 200.
Oh, you got in at 200. What was that,
2015?
2015?
Yeah. Early 2015.
Okay. So when you bought at 17K, were you expecting it to go to 50, or were you just DCAing? Or?
I was kind of DCAing. If I really told you the story, it's not something I'd like to share on public stream, but I'll tell you when we hop off. We've got a conspiracy theory here. Do you think our big claimer is a hater and they are selling their 10% open free claim in an attempt to sell down the price? I didn't know that they did sell their 10% open.
So I heard someone say in chat that that they actually staked their 10% for a week.
Probably to see how it worked.
Yeah, I think I think that's what you need to do. Like I've offered to kind of, send like, pennies of hex, and just encourage people to like get in there and just try it out. And maybe people will do that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever staked for less than a year. My only stakes have been, 600 days, 700 days, 800 days. And then there's all my free claim, which is just automatically 350. But I'll probably restake the free claim when it comes due.
Yeah, I don't know
that much relative to how much you buy with ETH. Bitcoin free claiming is nothing compared to what you can buy. Even today, spend 1 ETH for what, 25,000 hex, or you can spend or you can not spend. You can convert 1 Bitcoin to 10,000 hex, but a Bitcoin was worth, $9,000. So way more.
That makes me like kind of think. Before I don't know when you kind of started watching Richard or like you got interested in Hex. I think it was from the start, right? At least before.
Yeah, I've been watching Richard since 2017 or whatever, since his self-help videos. But
nice. Yeah. So originally it was just going to be Bitcoin claims, right? And I was interested in that. And then when he said the adoption amplifier, like I don't know why, but I had a little bit of skepticism. It was like, okay, now it's for a for-profit endeavor, which at the time I don't know why I had a problem with. But my opinions have changed on that. Because why shouldn't developers get paid? But that's another conversation.
Yep.
But what it's actually allowed me to do is that I was a small Bitcoin holder. Like I've only out of uni a few years, right? But what the AA allowed me to actually get a sizable bag. Like if I look at my free claims, it's like pitiful, basically. It's nothing. But by having the AA and enabling you to buy in, actually allow people with kind of smaller amounts of money to,
it's freemium onboarding. It's freemium onboarding. Hex is kind of hard to sell down to get a better price. I think that is a losing game, but people will still try. Yes, they will. But every time somebody tries to, they're selling into potential strong hand. So every sell is a new opportunity for somebody stronger to buy. Luckily, I don't need the money right away either. I think a lot of these people are totally broke. The people that sell right away are emergency unstaked because you didn't need the money. Why not stake it and just see what happens?
Yeah. I think a lot of them are coming from the crowd of like Trayvon and that, where they've seen these projects die, and
that's true too.
And the DApps and things, like it's all about like sometimes you don't want to be the last person standing in there. I sold all my HEX, man.
I sold my head. That was a funny video. Was that Crypto Black Sheep? I think he made that.
No, I think it was
somebody else, but Crypto Black Sheep made a video, a song about that guy.
Yeah.
Some of the content out there is unbelievable. Just kills me.
Man. The Hex content has just been like up and above what I expected.
Yeah.
So good, so good.
It's not just another dApp. I mean, it's here to stay. So people are putting all their effort and creativity into it, which is amazing.
And I don't see it stopping because, like I said earlier, like people are tied in for 10 years or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't. I don't know. Did you see the whale pool stream where Richard went into it?
I wish he did not.
No, it was pretty AIDS. Like, they just like laughed like a bunch of coyotes when I don't remember his name, but he the guy from Hex Community went in there and said he had a 14-year stake. And they laughed because, I guess crypto is just a pump and dump thing that you just get in and then get out, right?
Right.
According to them. But they didn't see it from the perspective that people are committing like serious chunks of their lives to this project, and it's not easy to like go back on that.
Yeah. And Whale Pool is a trading Telegram channel. It's for traders. All they talk about is trading.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that they would have the short-term mentality. Definitely not a long-term mentality. But people like me, people like you, and everyone else doing stuff for the project, we're making sacrifices of our time and energy to do it because we believe in it. So if this all goes to shit, it goes to zero. Well, I mean, learning experience, but I really, 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 really doubt it.
I mean, this has kind of given me the opportunity to maybe think about getting into the crypto space myself. Like, I've looked into kind of having the freedom to learn coding and things like that. So it's really, um, yeah, Hex done a lot, and it's only 150 days in.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I've got, oh man, this is gonna. So I onboarded my girlfriend, and we're gonna have like a proper setup for a big payday to just watch the chart. I guess it's gonna be so good.
Love that. We should all do a live stream on Big Payday. I'm sure we will, but we'll have our own little Bitcoin halvening live stream. Probably more people than.
Yeah, I don't know if Miami's gonna happen, but
Oh, I think
I
it
don't
will.
know. Yeah, I hope so. Like, I looked at flights; they were super cheap, but now I don't know because of the Rona.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's true. I might.
Mm,
I don't know. We'll see.
we'll see. Yeah.
Chat. Miami is happening. Yes, it is. Hell yeah.
I definitely need to get a
I'm from
tan
Miami.
on.
10. Oh, you'll get one in Miami. It's hot there. Archie, they don't understand shit about crypto, bragging about how they market making on scam exchanges. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Most of them will probably get wrecked. A lot of them are probably broke anyway. They don't like people that make money in trading don't talk about trading publicly. People that really make money. Either they're making money and they're not talking about it, or they're selling you a course because they want to make money after they've made money in trading.
You went to the
in the chat
Tone
room.
Vase one,
Go
right?
ahead.
Sorry, you went to the Tone Vase trading course back in the day?
Yeah, I did it when he came to my hometown, my city. I just went to meet people, see what it's all about. All you really learn is the order of operations, essentially, in terms of priority. So I'll give away a 0.1 BTC course right now for everybody. So the order of operations is in terms of what you value when making a swing trade. It's candlesticks, number one. Chart patterns, number two. Candlesticks meaning specifically gravestones and dragonflies. So long wicks with tiny bodies are those kind of candlesticks are more influential in determining a swing or a reversal in price. So if you have a big cross with a small body, that means there was a lot of activity and a lot of disagreement that ended up neutral. So a lot of those candlestick patterns are prime areas and high probability events for a reversal.
Mm-hmm.
Next, you've got chart patterns, specifically triangles, specifically ascending, descending, and flagpoles, symmetric triangles. Descending triangles are bearish 70% of the time. Ascending triangles are bullish, something like 70% of the time. And symmetric triangles are usually bull flags or bear flags, depending on if they're at the bottom of a previous big candle or at the top. Then you've got third in the order, TD sequential. So Tone has his own indicator that he sells you, which is good. It works. It's a count 1 through 9, and you buy on a green 2 above a green 1, and you sell on the 9, or you sell on a red 2 below a red 1, and you sell on the red 9, or you buy back on the red 9. Then there is, what is it? It is.
I think truly these are trading 101 things. Like just
Yeah.
I guess you're looking at confluence between
you're stacking
multiple
them together.
different things,
Yeah,
right?
you're weighing because a lot of people they're overwhelmed with indicators and they don't know which ones to value or which ones to give a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
So candles, patterns, TD sequential, support and resistance, which a lot of people don't know, but the moving average lines serve as support and resistance. So moving averages are support and resistance as well as flat lines. And then finally, oscillators as kind of a tiebreaker. If you really can't tell, oscillators are the way to go, specifically the RSI and the stochastic RSI. So write that down and save yourself $1,000.
But truly, you're gonna, if you use those things in isolation anyway, you're probably gonna lose money because that doesn't tell you like your risk reward, like where your stop should be. When do you put stops in profit?
Well, the TD
all those things
tells you when to get in and out. So that's your entry and exit.
Does it tell you like position size, stop losses, and things like that?
Yeah, well,
okay.
position size is something you have to create for
Well, yeah,
yourself.
okay,
It should never
yeah,
be
I
more than
suppose.
10% of your total stack, and your stop loss should always be like 10% of the trade value or less.
Yeah. So I guess you don't have to answer this, but like, did it work? Like, what was the thing that like
It worked. I made a few
held you
thousand
back?
bucks.
I guess.
I made a few $1,000 on BCH trading, and then I lost a few hundred on other stuff, but I got out just because I didn't have the time. I didn't like how much time it took me. I wasn't able to be present in my day job, and I wasn't able to be actively, participating in my social life or anything like that. I was always checking the chart, and I was
It's
just
terrible.
a
It's
degenerate.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Checking like the P&L constantly, like how many pips in profit or whatever.
It's not the
It's
life.
not good. It's not good. Like, couldn't sleep. It's not good at all.
How long did you trade for?
I dabbled at like I was using like paper money for quite a long time.
Okay.
And then I think I switched to small amounts of real money for like about a year before I blew up what I was like willing to put in there and called it a day. But I think that to finally admit to yourself that like it's not for you, like you're either not willing to put the time in, or you don't have the resources to become like consistently profitable. And that's another thing. Like, you get highs, right? You get like 5 trades in a row and you think, damn, finally cracked it. And it's a hard realization when you then go on a losing streak and you're below where you started again.
Yeah. The pain of loss is worse than the benefit of gain. So
Yeah.
We got any more questions in chat? What do you guys want to know? How is HEX different in the UK? Is it spelled HECKS?
I think actually, I think he's Richard Hart has that spelling, hex.win, HECKS.win.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I think he's straight text on.
I actually bought hex.vin hoping to it redirects as my referral code, so I hope if anybody makes a typo, they accidentally type in hex.vin. I haven't gotten any referrals yet from that.
So no, Hex is mostly the same over here. I don't think we have a Hex UK channel. But what I did go to a few local meetups back when I was kind of a BTC maximalist after the trading days.
Yeah.
And this was when it was called Bitcoin Hex still then. And I did I tried to kind of shill it a little bit and kind of say what was up, saying you can just free claim. There's nothing to lose. But that
didn't go well.
It's just the price appreciation design that people they can't hear without thinking it's a scam. They just can't hear them.
Yeah.
And this was a group of people that kind of knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to shill it at Tonebase's Unconfiscatable conference, and nobody wanted to hear it. Actually, some people did. Some people were receptive to it. And it was really only the people that were there to network. But a lot of people were there as if they were going to church, Bitcoin is their god. So
I didn't realize until recently I'd gone back and watched one of Tone and Jimmy Song's regular live streams, just how it's almost cringy now, like the level of just disregard for anything that's not Bitcoin. Like even Ethereum, like that does things that just actually provably can't be done on Bitcoin, that they have failed on Bitcoin before, just completely disregard as a possible use case in Ethereum. And I didn't realize until I actually tried Ethereum and realized it's great.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird that you would like something that much that you can't really do anything with. And at my company too, we're starting up a blockchain capability to be able to consult people about blockchain, because we're getting to the point where a lot of these finance companies are wondering, what about blockchain? What do we do about blockchain? Should we make our own blockchain, or what about public and private? And we've got one guy who's a Bitcoin maximalist in my company, and he's like, well, really, it's only Bitcoin and nothing else matters. And I'm like, dude, we built an app on Ethereum. What are you talking about? You could not have built that app on Bitcoin. You just could not have built the app on Bitcoin. So the only people that are building anything on Ethereum And as a test run, I made a quick voting app on like a Hello World voting app from the Ethereum documentation, and they've got great documentation out there that a non-technical person like me can whip up on a test net, a point and click voting application where every vote is logged as a transaction. So it's immutable on the Ethereum blockchain. I thought that was awesome.
You're a developer then, right?
No, I'm a product manager, product strategist, kind of.
Okay. So there are a couple of things like in Hex that I still don't understand because I'm not a programmer, that I kind of haven't heard talked about. And like one of them was, it was actually because we had those huge free claims today, or I think it was today or yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah, it was insane. I couldn't believe someone with 500 million. Like, just it's interesting. Hex is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it made me think about like the snapshot that was taken of the UTXO set. Like, I can't conceptualize how is that stored in the Hex contract? Like, and like, was it verified by anyone that it was actually the same as the snapshot of that block height? Like, there's all these things that I guess we could go so deep into, but I just not a developer. So.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked into it either, but we could look at it. I mean, I know a lot of initial coin launches have done a similar thing where they take a snapshot of the blockchain, and all it is I think is a UTXO set on a certain day. So it's just like a file that it's a running total of every address that accounts for every Bitcoin in existence. So
it seems like that'll be something too big to like actually upload onto the blockchain, right? So it's got to be some sort of like, I don't know, like derivation. I don't know.
Yeah, the derivation thing I think is for creating new addresses from the same private keys. It's like BIP39 or something, where a lot of other coins use it too. So you can make unlimited amounts of public keys off the same private key set. I don't know what I'm talking about though.
But I tried to actually support someone who was trying to get their stakes off of a MetaMask, which they'd used natively, and they were trying to get it onto the ledger. This is something I tried to do, and like when you actually get into those technical things that I've been in crypto for a few years now, and I still get nervous when I'm doing these things because I don't, you kind of, if you delete MetaMask by accident, you just had the wrong seed written down. That's it. It's like gone. But it made me realize just like we have got a huge way to go in the whole of the crypto industry to make this like really user friendly.
We do. Hex has a pretty good UX though. I mean, it piggybacks off everything that's already been built on MetaMask and all this stuff. And we've got great websites out there too.
Yeah. I don't know if I can't remember what your answer was, but about the thing you want to see on Hex. I think for me, it's just a mobile wallet that has staking natively.
Yeah,
and I'm really hoping Hex Mobile does that. It sounds like it will.
Yeah, that's here. It's almost here. Hex.business has they're making a mobile app. It's available on Android right now. It's available on the iOS link. It's the test flight link. So it's available for beta on iOS.
Okay.
We could share the screen right now. We'll share a Chrome tab of Hex.business. So if you guys want to go to Hex.business, you can see over here. You've got APK, which means agnostic of platform, and then you got a Google Play Store link, and then a test flight for iOS. This app will let you stake Hex from your wallet and also join the adoption amplifier and stake Hex from your wallet. And then there's also some game down here where you can enter an amount of Hex and receive HXY, which I've actually done just to see what would happen. So I put in a small amount of Hex and I received HXY, and I'm going to see what happens with that. But it feels like another one of those kind of Hex Max type games or whatever. I'm not sure. So wait until I lose all my money before you guys do it. But that could be cool too. And then the app is really one of the best parts about it. It's just a way for people to get onboarded with something familiar. So, some people don't have a computer desktop. So,
yeah, I think just being able to do everything from one app will be awesome. Yeah, and if they can somehow integrate like buying Ethereum into there, like with Wire, or I don't know, just being able to do everything from your bank account to staking HEX would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Someone thinks I look cool. Thanks, man. I gotta call out people that are stoked on them. BTC equals boomer coin.
There we go.
All right. Going at it again. iOS is in test flight. Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to be a beta tester of that, so we'll see what happens. You can already do that. Toby, you got a channel name?
I do. It's got no content on it. It's TalkHEX, I think. If
Okay.
I have,
yeah, you can show it later once you got some content. Or
I was gonna make a kind of video series version of the layman's guide for shares, but then good texture. What's this? Is that right?
good content.
He beat me to it. So like,
yeah. I mean, you could do a thing with him. You know, do like your own little regular weekly stream.
Yeah, he did.
Tone-based opinion is cult. That's right, guys. The only cult I need is HEX. Best cult in the game. A cult is only a religion where the leader is still alive, so who knows? Crypto.
So what was your
sorry.
Yeah, go.
Will you do a HEX giveaway when you hit 1,000 subs? Sure. I was gonna do a Richard Hart live stream when I hit 1,000 subs. So hopefully that'll be better than a giveaway. Go ahead, Toby.
So what was your staking strategy, if you wanted to share?
Yeah, sure. I got a video on it. It's changed a little bit over the years, but pretty simple. I've got my free claims that are expiring that, they're going to expire on day 351. Nothing exciting there. And then I've got a long ladder and a short ladder. So my long ladder is less quantity, but yearly from now until 15 years from now, 2035. And then my short ladder is every 25 days, spanning 2022 to 2024. So higher amounts as well. So the short ladder is to time the bull market. The long ladder is to create wealth for the rest of my life. And then Bitcoin free claims for shits and gigs. So I've also got 10% liquid, which I'm planning on staking to combat the FUD on big payday, because I know there's going to be a lot of FUD videos out near that time. So I'm going to do a video where I stake a shit ton for like 5 years to kind of counteract some of the people that are going to try to suck the energy out of big payday onto their own copycat coin, which is going to happen.
It's hard. I found it hard personally to kind of. I've still got that traditional investment brain, which tells me but HEX has grown so much that I should rebalance. But true, like even when I consider HEX, like if I was outside of HEX and I just discovered it right now, I still think the risk reward is so high that I don't want to take a significant amount of it out. Like, but the voice inside my head, the kind of like Warren Buffett voice is telling me to just take some profit. But yeah,
all in. It's everything or nothing.
I can't. I'm staked anyway. It's like
not investment advice, but do you think Big Payday post referral link would direct to staking page? If you want it to, you can direct it to the staking page now. You can just type in /transform /? R whatever.
So I guess it would need to use a contract built on top of HEX to do a referral system now, right?
Yeah, I think you would need somebody to fund it as well. So that
fund it, yeah. Otherwise, you end up taking a cut of someone's stake, right? Which is, I don't know. It's like, I think you can kind of debate the morality of it, because it's like, if they don't know there's a better way, is it bad? But that's the current state of the referral system anyway.
Yeah. Well, you're helping them. They get 10% more. You get 20% of what they got. That's only a good thing to me.
Yeah.
No super chat until 1K subs and monetization is enabled. Super chat. What's super chat?
It's where people pay to have like highlighted comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you need 1,000. So I'm almost there, guys. Help me get to 1,000 subs. Smash the
Firebun and a ton of people have been doing them on like Tone Vase's stream.
yeah.
And they just like delete them. I don't know if they get the money or not, but like I don't know. Our community is so good.
That's the best. I'm gonna start going on gamers channels now because Hexologist did one on PewDiePie, and I was like, damn, that's a great idea.
We need to be reaching outside of the crypto bubble.
100%. I've got a lot of placements on my ads that are the Joe Rogan Experience, Tim Ferriss, Lex Fridman, Eric Weinstein, intellectual dark web type dudes, and then a couple of financial passive income type people too. The whole passive income niche is a great one, or the make money online niche. You gotta get those guys. 80,000 viewers saw it. Yeah, for your 80,000 viewers saw the PewDiePie donation. I know, it's amazing. Because it looks, it makes a big scene too, because there's a big blue box that says, $10 donated. Go to hex.
So I guess you'll have some insights on this with the YouTube campaign. But I imagine crypto getting onboarding even through like clicks is still super hard because of the complexity of crypto, right? So if they go to HEX to win after seeing an ad, I imagine the conversion from that is still rather low.
Yeah, I'm not able to track it very well because I'm doing video placement ads, and they don't allow you to put in anything at the end of the URL. So unfortunately, I can't put a referral link on the end of the URL, and all I can do is see how many people have looked at the video and where are they from and how old are they male or female, stuff like that. So you can run a different kind of ad, like a search ad, to make sure that every time somebody searches for Hex coin, that your referral link comes at the top of the list. But I'm doing video brand awareness ads, and so all that really does is it shows a Richard Hart video or a similar type of Hex video up next when people are browsing through YouTube. So we got a lot of people watching them, and I mean, they're definitely aware of Hex if they've watched them, but it's been tricky to equate it to an actual click of the adoption amplifier.
I think that's all you really need, because when we get into the next bull run, people will figure out a way to get in for the mad gains.
Yeah, I mean, they'll figure out a way.
It's hard to get in.
But I still need to talk to Richard about somehow hooking it up to the actual button click. So trying to link it to when somebody clicks the stake button after they've watched a YouTube video from my ad.
The stake button. So you're talking about a referral system after?
I'm just talking about how do we track people that have been converted.
Oh right, okay.
From the campaign. Yeah. I've seen an ad for Kyle's channel. Yeah, I'm not actually advertising Kyle's channel, but I should add a few of his videos to my campaign. It's a good idea.
I feel like I'm missing out. I use ad block, but like I'd love to see just Kyle pop up on my
yeah.
YouTube, yeah.
Apparently, yeah, he does. So, all right, man. I gotta be like a racehorse with diabetes, so I'm gonna get going.
All right, dude. All right. Next time we chat, I want to see that Hex tattoo.
Oh, it'll be on the back of my head, so I'll show you. 10 million donations, and I'll do it.
All right.
10 million Hex donations.
All right, dude.
Cool, man. Good talking to you. Talk soon.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.